There we
We're
go.
recording. We're
Yep.
recording. Well, I am really, really happy today to be having a conversation with, I told her before we started, literally one of my favorite people in the whole world. And how much fun is that to be able to have a conversation and collaborate and bounce off each other? This individual, her specialties include content strategies, social media training, profile setup and connection, online training, training videos, manuals, and libraries. I'm only halfway through. Podcast hosting, editing, and producing, voiceover for training videos, commercials, and podcasts, website content evaluation. And you have offered some of these services gratis to me, and thank you. I really appreciate the comment that you made on the envelope that I had, and that envelope has worked for me for almost 50 years. Why change? Okay, I'm not done. Custom email and document templates that meet accessibility. Google ought to be hiring you for all this stuff.
Oh, they have these people.
Brand identity packages and associated graphics, syndicated content setup, accessibility review to ensure everyone can access your website. Did I miss anything, Susan?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, by the way, welcome to Susan Finch. And Susan,
Hello.
you and I have been recording and friends for 7-8 years.
Oh, longer than that.
Is it?
Since 2010.
And what happened in 2010 that got us together originally? Was it Ronnie Binzer?
It was Ronnie Binzer. Yeah, Hangouts on air.
Yeah. Oh my! Weren't those the days, Susan?
So
Like
fun.
I had 10,000 followers in that day. I had groups and I had all kinds of things. I had every keyword I could grab. Whatever
fun.
was available, I grabbed it. What's happening with your business right now? Let me step back. Okay, go ahead and answer that, and then I have a follow-up question.
You read quite a huge list of things, and
are they all true?
Are they all true? Yeah, but what it goes down to is one thing.
David Leopold, they're all true.
But let's compact it. I make you look good online.
That's the bottom line. Let's get to the bottom line.
That's kind of the whole thing. So whatever tactic we use, that's it. I make you look good and sound good.
How do online. I look? Do I look okay?
You look great.
I love it. It took you 10 years to say that to me.
No prompting there at all, was there? But I love teaching, and I'm finding that's been one of my joys in the last few years is teaching courses, teaching clients, training people. I mean, I used to teach art at the schools, volunteer art. I've always been a teacher at heart.
And you were a graphic designer at one time too.
I do graphic design. I won't call myself an illustrator. There's a big difference. But I still do graphic design all the time. And it comes in handy.
Can I share a story with you about graphic designers?
Of course.
I've been publishing for 50 years, on and off, whatever. And over the years, I probably have hired six graphic designers. Every single one of the six. I know what I want on a page from a marketing and sales perspective. Make it look pretty, and 99.9% of the time, yes, that you nailed it. And that's a great place to be.
Yes.
So I've been very fortunate that that's been part of my thing. So you're a podcast pro, a trainer, and a coach. That's pretty all.
It is. It's funny. People think that because they have a mic, they can talk or they can speak well. And sure, but would anybody ever want to listen to you? And I think the hardest thing I do is to kind of dare people or push them to go listen to yourself. would you listen to you?
To your point, I am doing an awful lot of recording right now. I mean, it's more than I ever have.
Right.
And I never, ever, up until about 6 or 7 months ago, studied myself, as you are saying that you should do. I study, I watch, I view every single thing that I do now. I mean, I want to see, and to your point, and I just never did it before.
It's important because you realize speech patterns you didn't realize that you had, train of thought that goes off the rails regularly. There's so many things to be aware of.
I specialize in getting off track.
Yes, you do.
I specialize. I pride myself on getting off track. I do. Well, you know, my theme, you are the second video that is going to go on davidfleopold.com. I decided that Facebook is not delivering to me technology efficiencies that I need because of all that I'm doing. It was a good audience, and I've developed an audience. Now my objective is trying to get all those folks over to davidfleopold.com. And it's a great place to be. And I just launched it. I just pushed the button yesterday, and yesterday I recorded the four videos that you were going to see. I did those yesterday afternoon, and I myself put them on my web landing page, and boom, we're in business.
Yes.
And I talked about you yesterday, and I don't know that I mentioned your name yesterday, but I talked about you. But now I'm going to put the video, boom.
All righty.
And I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's well, back to everything that you were saying, and you're good at you're great at what you do, the online presence, but the online presence is maintaining the consistency of your brand. I mean, and you do it because of all those things you do. That's your audit list. That's your checklist.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people because I still do websites too. And that's a lovely chunk of my business, which I enjoy very much.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. Break down your business in segments percentage wise.
It depends on, I mean, it was leading with podcasting for like the last 2 years, like a 70-25. And the breakdown right now is more like 50-50 because I've just had some big projects come. And spontaneous, my website or my person went away and I have no access to anything. My son marvels. He always says, it seems like a lot of what you do is rescue work. You're always rescuing somebody's site from the guy, the person who left, the person who's inaccessible, the hosting company they want to leave, whatever it is.
That commands a high fee, as I remember correctly.
It does, because you got to know how to get it all, gather it. Truly, I mean, it involves sometimes going into the web archive and copying and pasting pages from who knows when, because there's nothing, and then rebuilding it. So that's an interesting part of my business, which I actually enjoy. That the problem is a lot of people don't want to pay that fee because I can't say, oh, that's going to cost this much. I don't know. You have a mess. I mean, you get to the bottom.
You got a mess I have to rescue.
Yeah. And it's a mess, and you don't even know what you don't know.
No, well, but they wouldn't be to you at your level if they didn't get some good indication they've got a mess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I won't take it on either. I mean, these one-off people that it's just people say, oh, don't you want to come up and search more? I said, no, I don't want people finding me through search, because I want referral business. I need people that understand that I know what I'm doing, trust me 100%, and will just know that I will be as efficient as possible.
How can I help you in referring you to the highest levels of things that I can do? How can I help you, Susan? How can we collaborate?
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, vetting people, making sure that they don't they're not going to be all paranoid about my getting into their stuff and fixing things, and that they'll trust if the amount is what it is, it's what it is. And I will go as efficiently as possible. And that's the main thing. I enjoy working with people that aren't weasels. No weasels, no parasites, no weasels. I want
Uh,
good people.
Before we went on camera today, Barbara Weltman asked me, I'm glad she didn't ask me on camera. She said, are you finally making money for the stuff that you're doing? I I laughed my head off. And I said, I'll be honest with you, Barbara, I have not made much money in the last 10 years. I'm just
Yeah.
the way I do things. I said, but I have created a product that all the money I didn't make, I'm going to make now on that product. So it's all about timing, and it's about understanding what's going on.
Right.
And you probably are charging 1/2 of what you should be charging. I've said that to more folks when I would find out what their rate is. I said, why so little? Why so little?
Yeah, and I recently raised my rates because I learned this in the art business years ago when I had my gallery. If people aren't willing to pay a certain price for what you're selling,
you don't want to do business with them.
raise the price. It means that you need a different clientele. And so that's what I've done because I know who I want to be with. And those clients have said, raise your prices if you want more people like us. And so I did.
You are so blessed with having folks that give you that kind of feedback. That is tremendous.
I have the most wonderful, caring, humble clients. Almost without exception. When I look at who I have right now, they are by choice. Every one of them that I work with.
Amen, sister. I am so with you. I am one client at a time. I find out what I want to do, what my thoughts are, who do I need to go talk to collaborate with me. That's how it goes. And I've been doing that for 50 years, so I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah.
Not going to stop now. But off camera, actually, you know what? We'll do it. We'll do it off camera.
Okay.
You'll love it. You will love it. Because you could do this. You could do exact same thing that I am doing just because of what you do. But I'll give you a hint. There are over 46,000 zip codes in this country.
Right.
I have designed what I call a storyboard card size idea that I want to have in every single zip code. I don't know. I don't think I have enough time to do it, but that's a lot of zip codes. And so I've got, I'm in discussions with folks who can buy like hundreds and hundreds of zip codes. Those are the guys you want to find. Okay. Talk about podcasting. Where's podcasting today? What's
still popular, still a great door opener. It's a much better conversation than, hey, do you want to see my demo? Hey, do you want to buy my stuff? It's a better way to send a thank you to a client, to a strategic partner, because you can invite them on and let them shine. So I love podcasting as kind of an audio thank you note, an audio love note.
You're telling a story.
Yep. And I love the stories. I have heard the best stories, and I enjoy hearing them. I've replayed some. I edit them. I listen again, and I still smile at the right parts. That's a good story.
When are you going to put all this stuff together in like a digital whatever? All the stuff that you've done, all the podcasts and the websites you've designed. And
it's not about me. It's about my clients. I don't care.
Well, at some point you're going to want to tell your legacy story.
My kids know it. I'm good.
Isn't that interesting that you say that? I am doing what I'm doing. The biggest motivator is for my children and my grandchildren. So they have a grasp of my sons are pretty close.
Yeah.
but they don't know a lot of the stuff. They're learning new stuff about me. And of course, the grandchildren, they're at the right age. Like the oldest one is going to be 9, and the youngest one is 2. You can really get into their heads. Twice now, the 9-year-old has asked me, well, first time she said, Grandpa David, what's an entrepreneur? Because she had seen entrepreneur behind me and all that chazarai. And so I said, wow, Eloise, that's, you don't know what you just done by asking me that question. About a month ago, we were video chatting, and she said something like, well, Grandpa David, what's going on with entrepreneurship?
Oh.
So she is a candidate.
She gets it.
And I can't you grow up faster, or can I slow down the aging process? So I've never done a podcast in my life. Never have done one. And people have said to me, well, David, why don't you do a podcast? I know why you do them. I mean, how much stuff can one person do by themselves? Okay. So right. I said, well, if you want, here's an idea. Get one of my videos and close your eyes and just think and get into it. There's a podcast. Isn't that a podcast? No.
It is. What's interesting though with video is you edit them differently.
Yes.
Because they can't see your facial expression. They don't have the same patience, and you have to keep it that flow has to be very clean for them to follow you, since that's all they have. And they are not sitting somewhere watching you. They are doing other things usually when they're listening. So you want to make sure that, so I'll edit a video and take out a third of it minimum sometimes to make the podcast episode from a video.
I feel like I have to make an honest confession.
Yeah.
I don't think I've edited one video in my life.
I know you don't.
I know you. It's odd. What's my brand? I'm just building the brand, right? Well, you can comment off air if you want on that one.
Yeah, but podcasting, you have to be respectful of the listener's time, because you're competing with so many other people in those venues. So, snack sized podcasts are great. Chopping up one 40-minute video into 3 key points. There you go. 5 snacks. 3-5 snacks.
What was that? In the old days, we used to call those a Scott treatment. Remember that?
I'm booking a secretary. Are you comfortable in your own? Just a second. You'd say yes. I'm sorry. My son is heading to cousin camp, which is what we call it in our family. It's like poor people's camp. No, it's what my family does. When I grew up, I would stay with cousins all summer long. But those same cousins, now cousin camp is way cooler than when I was little. They get to go kayaking and jet skiing and all these things.
Guess where I'm going this weekend?
Where?
To cousins camp, my cousin's camp. And I have a cousin that has 40 acres in Meigs County, where the University of Ohio University is. And once a year, he hosts one side of our family on his farm, and we're going down there. And he and I just agreed that I'm going to stay in a tent this weekend.
Wow!
Because the bedroom that I usually stay in his house is taken. So I'm going to be tenting on some big at a cousin's party. How cool is that?
That is fun. Yeah, he's going to they have a house in the mountains and stuff, so they're going on the lake and all these things. My cousins, I love it. They're successful, they're good people, and it's super cool that they want to include my son.
How is life in your part of the country? It's pretty crazy, isn't it? I mean, just the environment and what's going on and temperatures.
Oh yeah, it's not bad. We're in Oregon. It's not bad. I mean, it's just a heat wave. People can get dramatic about it, but to me, it's a heat wave.
It's going to be 103 feels like degrees here tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's what air conditioners are for. And if you don't have one, go be somewhere. Go to the library.
Wait till you get to be 73 and see how you perform in 103 feels like temperature.
If you're inside.
but I don't have air conditioning because I live in an old apartment building and there's no insulation in the walls. So I refuse to turn the air conditioning on, but I have the area where I am very
Yeah.
comfortable. That's
Yeah, and that's what I mean, that's what that is. That's a little portable air conditioner, it goes out the window. And it's a dehumidifier too, so I just roll it around.
see that white thing there?
Yeah,
That's a fan that blows on me.
yeah.
And it doesn't interfere with my sound. How
Well,
cool.
yeah, and I turn mine off for recording most of the
I
time, but
well, you know me.
yeah.
I'll, no, I won't edit that out. Okay, podcasting. Well, you because I've never really got into podcasting, and so when I
Right.
heard that you were in it and doing it, it's so much more than, well, you bring so much more to the table. I don't know what other podcast producers
There
do.
yeah, there are a lot of companies actually, and I see them, I sort of competitors, sort of not. They make a lot of promises of what they say they'll do. The podcast thing, we are like intimate partners with all of our hosts. We know their businesses, we care about them, we know their families, we know what their marketing strategies are within their companies, how we can fit in. We get involved with their guests, we meet their guests because the whole thing is if it's making the guests shine, so they'll want to share the show, talk about it, and it'll get other people to want to be on the show, and it'll get the hosts invited to be on other shows. But it's all what you do with it afterward and how thoughtful, and there's so many ways to be thoughtful with that content that spent the money and time creating. A lot of people miss that or claim that they're going to do it. It's like, oh, she charges so much. Well, yeah, but we know how to write and we know how to promote and we know how to
We know how
engage.
to think. We know how to create. We know how to be creative.
Well, and we can speak pretty much in your company's voice. And I mean, that's some of our skills. We really engage with our folks and we enjoy them. I went to a wedding recently. I was honored to be invited to a wedding of two of my hosts. And it was the most beautiful thing because not only were they older, this is, second, third marriage for them. This is their final marriage because they are so perfect together. But everybody in attendance was somebody I would enjoy spending time with.
Wow.
They were every one of them, humble, caring, enjoyable. So it made me feel good too because I'm there with my family. And I think that means we're like that too. How cool that we all get to be together to celebrate this and how they brought all of us together for this event. It was probably my favorite wedding I have been to, and I'm Mexican Catholic. I've been to some weddings.
How long do they last? Like, is it true they last for days?
This was a 2-day event, and every minute of it and every conversation was enjoyable. And I told my son, I said, "This is your goal. To find somebody that you want to shine for and to be your very best, and that you attract people like this."
For the same reason that you're describing, and I've been a one-on-one kind of person with clients over the years. My clients are my best friends over the years.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I have never taken a business or marketing course in my life. My clients have been my teachers. And what more could I ask?
Right. I've learned a tremendous amount from the very beginning. From my first clients, I've learned a tremendous amount.
Okay, someday I want to produce a video of Susan Finch working the room. I want to do a video someday on that.
My son and my husband marvel at it. It was fun.
It's not allowed to be a room of relatives. It's got to be a room of total strangers.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. That's why I want to do it. So
yeah, and you'll watch the weasel detector go doo, 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 doo. And when that goes off, I'm like, oh, gotta go, and I'll excuse myself and move on to the next.
Well, I can't imagine you excusing yourself and moving on to the next if you're engaged.
It depends. No, if I know that I won't engage. I'm telling you, it's the weasel thing. I can't stand it. I have to get away from it as fast as possible because they will infect. And they can infect you.
I actually wanted to try to produce something where it was a 5-minute um, speed dating,
Sure.
business dating, 5 minutes. And it never came to fruition. Maybe one day it will come to fruition. How do you best sell yourself? And if you want to engage, how are you going to do that engagement? You've got 5 minutes to do it.
I had somebody do that once. They invited me to be on one of those types of things, and it was not a pleasant experience because they didn't know me at all, did not take the time to know me, did not read anything, and just kind of, because all they were trying to do it is use as an entree to their services. And I was so put off by the experience, I would never do business with them, even if it were free.
Yes, you have business ethics and morals. I'm going to create the Susan Finch Award.
I have just limited time, and I want to spend it with amazing people with big hearts.
And the interesting thing is we all have the same 24 hours, and it's how we decide to use that time.
True.
And that's really what it's all about. Okay, one last discussion. You and I could talk for lots and lots of hours, but what I feel about what is going on in the world today, that it's extremely important for a small business to think about additional revenue streams that may or may not be related to the business at hand. And it makes a whole lot of sense. If you can do it, do it. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, think about what we were talking about at the very beginning of this. You listed this, this tremendous list of, everything that I do, blah, 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 blah. And so people get focused, though, on the blah, blahs and the little bitty micro things.
You want them to focus on the binkies.
No, I want them to stand back and say, what do these things have in common? That's what you do. So don't limit yourself to what you think accomplishes that. The products, the services, whatever it is. If your big overall mission is making somebody look good online, you are more open to new things. You're more open to learning things, to maybe getting certifications, to maybe expanding techniques, taking on new partners. But you can't if you're so micro-focused on all these little pigeonhole things that you think you do. And I think that's the biggest mistake, especially small business owners, that they do. They are so, I like this and this. And also make a list of what you don't like to do. Because if you don't enjoy doing it, or people, if you've heard the term, well, what's your buyer persona? Well, who do you like to work with? Let's put it in human terms. Who do you like working with? And you're going to have to be really honest, and you might not be able to ever tell anybody what the actual answer is because it won't be politically correct. But who is your ideal client, their age range, their demographic, their upbringing? You will be surprised if you are honest with yourself, how that will open up. What is it that you like about that type of person, though? How come it's always this type of person? Well, I find that I can relate to them more, and this is why. And you'll start to put yourself out there more, and more of that will come to you. So it's that self-honesty, and then truly stepping back, making it a broader, not a broader net, but being open to additional ways to accomplish the same overall overarching goal of what you do.
You have just validated my last 50 years. Thank you. Thank you. You know how to get to the bottom line. You know how to get to the bottom line. And that's, so many people think they know how to get to the bottom line, but and to your point, I get a lot of emails from marketing folks. Okay. And I learn by the emails that I'm getting. What I most learn is about horrible subject lines. Horrible, insulting my intelligence. I bet my intelligence is insulted 85% of the subject lines that I read. And I know when some of the folks that I've been following for a lot of years, I'm seeing subject lines. I know they're not writing those subject lines like they used to. because they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say it that way.
Well, think about LinkedIn connection people when they try and connect with you. And oh my gosh, some of the notes, because we've all been taught now, you do a personal note when you connect. You don't just say connect. So you add a note. So they add a note. Some guy this morning, because I say no all the time to those people, but some guy this morning said, I see you're in Portland too. So am I. We should connect. Like, I see you wear shoes. I wear shoes. We should connect. I mean, how stupid is that? I like pudding. Do you like pudding? Let's connect. I mean, really? Give me something more. And then I had 2 spam ones that had these, it looks like they're using stock photos for their photo, and they're both similar poses, the real estate pose. And so I had the 2 real estate poses with 2 people I've never heard of, not connected to anybody I know, and they both had the same subject and the same message, but 2 different people. I'm like, decline, decline. Come on, people.
Well, I know exactly what you're saying.
You're in Portland. I mean, if you'd said I graduated from John F. Kennedy High School in 1983, you did too, I'd be like, break out the yearbook, let me see that. You might have my interest. Or you mentioned something about New Mexico chilies. I have a great recipe for. Okay, I'll talk to you. But I'm in Portland and
it better be good, because if it isn't, I'm going to come wherever you are in Portland, wring your neck if it's not a good recipe. Now, the next thing he'll want to come to your place to show you how to cook the chili recipe.
Right. There'll be something. There'll be something.
Well, Susan, it's been a joy. It's been I really, really enjoy having these conversations with you, and I truly am looking forward to the next one.
Well, I know every time I see your emails in my inbox or a message on LinkedIn, you make me smile. Every time.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I guess I'll have to send you more emails so you keep you smiling. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? To know I bring a smile to somebody's face. Is there anything better than that?
Right.
Is there anything better than that? And I just had a picture taken with my 5 grandchildren. I told you their ages 2 to 9. And the 3 girls, they are so photogenic because they've had their picture taken a million times. So they know what the camera's about. My oldest grandson, who is 3, he's very introverted. So he doesn't, it'll take him a lot to look into a camera. He was doing his own thing. My youngest grandson was sitting on my lap, and he's 2, and it looked like he was sticking his tongue sitting on grandpa's lap. That kind of behavior is not permissible.
Oh, it's encouraged here.
Well, I can remember the very early times when you and I started doing video thing, and your daughter was running in and out of the room, and it's been fun watching her grow up to the woman she's become. And you just said it. That's part of why you want to interact with people.
Yep.
That's part of why you want to interact with them. Okay, well, thank you for your time today. And when I stop this, I want to show you what I'm doing, see what you think about it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I will say this. With you, anytime you see that you have a half hour and you want to smile, because I just sit around all day long. I don't do anything. I just make videos. So anytime you want to have a chat, let's do it. And well, think about it, because I told you, how can I help you in referrals? We can do a chat that's a referral that you would send to somebody. We'll talk about a topic.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let me remember to stop the recording. Well, I do it over here. stop recording this meeting.